and welcome to Messy Teaching. Today I am going to share with you guys just a really cool few tips about how to use the chat feature on Zoom. So I already have Zoom open. I have one guest in the meeting, this current meeting that I've already started. And in order to get to your chat, and I'm doing this on a MacBook, you can go ahead and click the chat bar on the right side. And if you haven't noticed that feature before, it exists, it's there. Now, the first thing is if you want to send a message to everyone, see, I click that little everyone, that button, and select everyone. You can type your message there. So you can say, hello, when you arrive, please say how you're feeling today. Or you could put when you've completed the quiz, please type done, the word done, in this chat box. I use it as a way to be interactive with my students because it is difficult when there's so many students on here, even if you go to gallery view and you can see quite a few of the boxes. If I had more than two, you could see 3 or 9. It's still pretty hard to get people to interact on an online class. And so I found that the chat box is the best way to kind of manage the flow of a conversation. So I might put, question 1, how do you feel? Question 2, um, how is the weather where you are? And then, as my students respond, they might put Q1, great, Q2, rainy. So those are just some ways that to engage with different people. And right now, guest is highlighted, even though I'm logged on my computer, because I am actually the guest. I called it on my phone. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I am both people in this meeting, but this is me logged in on my computer. This is me logged in on my guest. In case you're wondering, on my phone, this is what guest 1 is. In case you're wondering, the one that is green is highlighting the speaker. So if we went to speaker view, guest is the big one. If I turned off the mic on my phone, then I would be the big one. My computer one would be the big one. The gallery view means you can see the screens and the faces. So that's one way to use the cat chat. Now let's say I just want to send a message to guest 1 privately. So I can say, hey, I noticed your screen, your video isn't on. Can you please turn on your camera? Now, it depends. I have heard some people say, um, some students are very uncomfortable with the camera on. Some students are, not necessarily dressing appropriately. I think just like in school, you've got to set the expectations of how you want your students to show up to online class. And my students know they're to be dressed appropriately. They are to be not in bed, in an area where they can work. And for me, having the camera on just helps me see that they're not, texting or distracted otherwise and they're actually engaging in the work. Because if they're muted and their camera is off, the kid could not even be by their desk. So chat is just one way to make sure that the students are staying engaged as you post things. So I'll give you an example. I might message the class a link for something. Or rather than a link, I tend to like to copy and paste things. So I might type in Genesis 1 verse 1, put in the Bible verses there. I can say out loud, please read this Bible passage and please write a sentence with the first thing that comes to mind. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is great. I'm showing you an example of what not to do. I'm still talking to guest 1 privately. I'm going to go back to talking to everyone and just copy and paste everything that I just put in. So all of those that I had sent just went to guest 1. This has now gone to everyone, and I am going to, I like making them a separate message and kind of putting stars in between and things because otherwise it just becomes a block. Just write a sentence with the first thing in mind. So what I am going to do is on here um, on Zoom, on my phone, I'm going to the chat and I'm going to chat as guest one and say, I thought of a sunrise. That's the first thing that came to mind. I thought of a sunrise. So now guest one has said to everyone they thought of a sunrise. Guest one can also privately say to Vimbo Vivian, hey, I don't understand this passage. Um, um, this passage from the Bible. Can you please explain after class? So, in that way, they just sent me something privately. I don't know why it broke up the word can because I put them all in one sentence, but they just were able to say privately what is going on. Oh, my internet connection isn't stable, but it's okay. They were able to say privately that they didn't understand something. I can respond to them privately, okay, let's meet at 9 after class. And that way you can still have private interactions with your students without having to message them in an outside service. So I really like the chat feature. If you click it, it closes. You can still go into a fuller screen. If you click it, it pops up. You can scroll up, you can scroll down. And if you have 20 people on here, you can be sending individual messages. The kicker is just if you want everyone to know what you're talking about, click to everyone. My guest one has been kicked out because my phone decided to lose connection. But yeah, that's just the way to get started using chat. And that's a couple ideas for how to use chat in your digital classes. Let me know if you guys have any other questions about, yeah, just how to use Zoom. And I will keep the tutorials coming. Thank you. Bye, guys.